one of our biggest attractors when we were homeschooling our kids was my mother. She thought we were crazy. She thought we were going to damage our children. But as my kids moved into high school and began to get into college and to succeed in the professional world, she became our biggest cheerleader. And she told everybody about that.
I think for grandparents that are nervous about their children educating their grandchildren, I need to say that is a common fear. And I certainly understand that, and just say, yes, it is something to be prayerful about, to pray that our children have the time, the energy, that they get to be focused enough to educate their children. And as a grandparent, I think it is my duty to help my children do that as much as possible.
Many times they're simply looking at their own experience and they're wanting their experience. And I just simply asked them, I said, do you really want to think back on your own experience, and do you really want that for your grandchildren when they can have so much more?
I would say this to the parent, to the grandparent. You raised your children to be smart kids. Isn't it just possible that maybe all that raising that you did prepared them to homeschool their own? You raised smart kids, so they're using all those smarts to choose what they believe is best. So I'd cut them some slack and, assume that they're doing what they believe is best.
Let's talk right now. What are your concerns with this method of educating our children? Write those down. Give us a year of absolute support, because the worst thing that a grandparent can do is undermine the success by always questioning in front of the children, well, are you doing this? Or give us your complete success, complete backing while we do this. And then at the end of the year, let's go over these. Let's see if these concerns are still in the forefront. And then involve the grandparents every chance you get. What are their passions? What is their background? What is your cultural history? Have them be a part of what you're doing. Show them papers, make projects for them, have little open houses where you can, quote poems that you've memorized and show papers that you've done and projects. Involve them so that they see. And usually time takes care of it, because it doesn't take very long to realize that the children are doing very well. Their vocabulary is strong, their self-assurance, their self-esteem is there, and that kind of begins to really. I've seen a lot of grandparents who were really against it and came around within a couple of years to, you'd think it was their idea to homeschool in the beginning, because the success speaks for itself.
It was a very strange thing to my parents and my in-laws when I made this decision. And it was, like I said at the beginning, it was a year-to-year decision. But at this time, the grandparents very much appreciate what the education that their grandchildren got.
Certainly, the older generation, my generation and older, I'm a grandparent now, so will look back on their time in school as kind of the golden age. Well, yes, things weren't so bad in the 50s. Well, actually, things are really bad now in 2010, 2011, I guess. And really, all you have to do is look at the statistics, the sexual behavior of children, the bullying problem, the low test scores. I mean, there's so many reasons to not put your kids in school. You really only have to find one or two good ones, and usually that's enough to at least open the mind of your critics, if not eventually convert them. And I've known grandparents who objected in the beginning and are now the strongest supporters of their kids, because after a couple of years and you see some of the results, the fruit of the work, and how the kids have grown in character and maturity and intellect, that's what grandparents want, is they want their grandchildren to be good.